Hey everybody, today we're going to take this 25-gallon miracle fruit plant that you can see here. This is the one that I made an air layer from, and this is the branch down here where we took the air layer off, and later I'll show you how that air layer is doing. It was taken from this tree, it's a pretty good sized air layer, and I moved it over to another container, and it's thriving, it's doing really well. So we'll go again and we'll show you that. But today what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to divide this up, we're going to cut right through the root ball, and then we're going to take it and we're going to plant this tree in a 15-gallon container. I was going to go get my reciprocating saw, but I forgot that a couple days ago I was trimming some trees and I broke off the long blade on the reciprocating saw. So today, since I don't have time to go get another blade for it, I'm just going to use this saw here, okay? Not conventional for this, but this is what we're going to use. I'm going to come right down the middle here and start cutting this tree. This is the, that's a 25-gallon pot. And here we go. And this is quite hard right here in the center. I got a hell of a root. Right there, I got a hell of a root. All right, this has really been a workout. If I would have had a chainsaw, or actually I would have had my reciprocating saw, I would have been done. There we go. Got a big root in the middle there. There we go. All right, so we broke that apart. We're gonna reduce this a little bit. I'm gonna take off maybe 4 to 5 inches on the side, and then we're gonna plant that in a 15-gallon pot. This one I think we'll trim him back and we'll put him in I think he'd be better off in a 7-gallon pot. All right, so here we go. We got our guy here. Miracle fruit tree. We're gonna put it in there. Like I said, we're gonna trim off some more from the sides, and then we're gonna go right in there. Take off on this side. Get as much of it off as I can. Alrighty, there we go. Let's do a quick measurement. I've already put some soil in here, but what I should have done is I should have put this in the pot first so I could see how much soil I needed on the bottom. I might be too high. Yep, I'm a little bit too high, and I'm still a little bit too wide, so I got to reduce that root ball some more. Let's get rid of some of this soil in here. Now what I did here is I took some potting soil and I did a 50-50 mix of potting soil with peat moss. The reason for that is that the miracle fruit plants really love that peat moss because it helps to make the soil more acidic. You guys think this tree will live? Or you think I've been too brutal with what I'm doing? What do you think? Leave a comment. All right, so here we go. Got them in there. See how wide that is? Still gonna have to reduce it a little bit more. We'll take off some from this side a little bit. And a little bit from here. And I've taken off quite a bit of the roots. You can see what that looks like. Let me go ahead and finish breaking that off. All right, that's good. Now we should fit much better. There we go. Now we got a nice straight tree, because what we had before was 2 of them. They were growing, one was growing to the left, one was growing to the right. The smaller one I made an air layer out of. So we're gonna refill this now with the potting soil, and then we'll be good to go. All right, so we're getting there. We took some of the soil, existing soil. You can see it's got a lot of roots around it. We just break it up and use it to finish filling this up, and then we pack it down a little bit. And it doesn't need any fertilizer or anything because it already had fertilizer in here. An important thing is to keep this guy in the shade, because you do want it to have a little shade so it can recover, because I did take off a good amount of roots, and this will stimulate some new root growth, and we'll have one single tree in a 7-gallon container, and probably within, you should see some new growth on this. I don't think it'll wilt much. It might wilt a little bit. It might get some dieback on some of the branches. Like some of these branches might start dying back, you know, they shrivel up and whatnot. Now I'm gonna get a stick, straighten it out, put a stick in here and secure it and move it to a shady location. So we're all done. We've got our 7-gallon tree right in here. We've got our 15-gallon tree with a stake in the pot. This will now recover. It'll take probably 2-3 months, and then we'll start seeing, maybe less, we'll see some new growth. And like I said earlier, I may see some of the branches dying back because, you know, it's going through a little bit of stress. But they usually don't stress out too much when you do this type of transplanting. The roots are not as delicate as maybe you might think they are. There's plenty of root in here. I had to cut away a lot of the thick roots that were part of this original tree. And this is just a little sucker sprout, which will come now and it'll turn into a beautiful little tree that'll produce fruit right away because it's from a mature tree. So that's now in a 7-gallon. No fertilizer needed, but I did add about 30% of that peat moss that I showed you earlier, and I put about 30% peat moss in here. Let me show you guys another tree, the one that I did a couple of months back. I'll show you how it's doing from the air layer that came off of this branch. So we got the tree that I'm going to show you now, this tree, and this tree. So basically 3 trees well, 2 more trees from the original trees. Let me go show that to you. This one is the air layer tree that I made from that. This is about 2 months, maybe 2.5 months old, and it's doing well in the container. It's beginning to root out nicely. I still have a stake attached to it. I had a little bit of dieback during the winter. Remember, I did this during the winter time, and you know, it's a little drier during the winter time, and it didn't have much of a root ball from the air layer. It was a small root ball, but it was good enough, in my opinion, to go ahead and step it up. So it is 2.5 months approximately. Might be a week under or a week over, but that's about how old it is, and it's doing quite well in this container. So that's the story. This is the large tree that you just saw, that an air layer was made from one of the branches, and then in the 7-gallon you saw a piece of what was this plant. In other words, the root system of this plant, and then the air layer is what was made from that branch. So this whole branch was part of that tree. All right, so this is the small tree, the one that was air layered, which is thriving and doing well. And then in the back, this big one back here, you can see the branches go all the way up. This one back here is the other one that's now in a 15-gallon container, the one that we just planted. So we just watered it in really good, and I moved them onto an elevated plastic pallet, just so that it's not in contact with the ground. And it is shaded under this large crepe myrtle tree. I watered this really, really good, and this tree should thrive. And we'll visit this tree again, and I don't know, maybe we'll do this in about 2 weeks and see, 2 or 3 weeks to look at it, see how it's doing. There it is, ready to go. I got the one tree here, got the other tree here. This one's got fruit. This is awesome looking tree, 15-gallon container, miracle fruit. Thanks everybody, have a good one.